Welcome, everyone, to a fun-filled, packed show. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Brian Bacchus, and again, you're not.
I'm Jamal Smith. Welcome to the latest edition of Altadena Talks. We have a special edition with our other co-host, Miss. You can finish.
Antoinette, or Tony Bailey, as most people in Altadena know me.
That's right. Now, I just want to forewarn you guys, whenever you see her on, you know you're ready for something special. You already know Tony talks on Tuesdays, right? That Tuesday episode. But if she comes on any other time, you know you're going to be in for something special. So hold on tight because we're about to get some good stuff for you.
Yeah, she normally sneaks in on Fridays anyway. She's a Friday girl.
That's right. So as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and run through the announcements. There's not as many right now, but I'm always looking for some other stuff, and then we'll get right back to Tony. Hold on one moment. Let's do this and over here. All right, cool. So first and foremost, it's the Union Station Homeless Services. They have every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. They are giving out hygiene kits, bedding towels, clothing, body wash bars, soaps, shampoos, conditioners, shelf-stable food and snacks, sack lunches, diapers, wipes, and formula for kids, and also assorted gift cards. This is going to be at 412 South Raymond Avenue in Pasadena. Again, it's on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you can get information at eatonfire@ushs.org. All right, so we have Dina Relief Drive. This is at the Pasadena Church, 425 Sierra Madre Villa. This was every Saturday in February. We have the last two coming up. The third is tomorrow, which is the 15th, and the last one will be next Saturday on the 22nd. For information, reach out to info@pasadenachurch.com, and then also at kingandme@2020@gmail.com. You can actually get water, food, clothing, toiletries, pillows, blankets, etc., and volunteers are needed. This one, disaster relief claim assistance. This again began last Friday, and it's 2 days a week on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from Fridays on Fridays from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is at the Jackie Robinson Community Center at 1020 North Fair Oaks Avenue. This next slide is actually showing all those deadlines that are coming up. Now, for the American Red Cross, if you haven't signed up for them and filled out anything, today is the last day. Today is the deadline. There's a QR code there.
So get your booties up there. Stop playing around. This is things that we're helping you get. So pay attention.
That's right. Don't say that you didn't know about it because we're sharing it.
For a week.
for a while. So for FEMA, one second. I think it's yours. You're welcome. For FEMA registration, the deadline is actually the 10th of March. Same thing for Small Business Administration. They actually, again, give out more than just business loans, and that deadline is the 10th also of March. And this one that we've been beaten, on a regular basis and talked about, this was a subject of many conversations. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the registration deadline, or this is the right of entry form. The deadline for that is the end of next month, which is the 31st of March. All right. Now, this is something, so we have the new hours for the disaster recovery centers. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. This is at 540 West Woodbury Road in Altadena. And I also got a note from one from Ziva, and also saw it from the Catherine Barger site, that this is also going to be a one-stop shop for rebuilding to help property owners navigate and the rebuilding process. You get all your permitting, planning done in one place for your house or business. And this is co-located at the Disaster Recovery Center, so you can knock out a couple different things at this one location. Excuse me. Painted Promises. This is that event that we had mentioned before. This is part 2 of the Eaton Carathon, where the folks in Monrovia are actually helping out. So it's basically the town of Monrovia is opening the doors of the historic Santa Fe train depot for the first time in years, and the special location is going to be open for a 3-day multi-layered community event and art show hosted by Chris Lose and Route 66 artists. There's going to be an event on February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We're going to actually have Chris on next week to kind of give a little bit more color to this and more details. That's it for me. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now to Ms. Tony, and you get to share all your good information with us today.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Brian and Jamal as well. A couple things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to be bringing a gentleman on today who's another builder that I vetted and spoke with for about 45 minutes, an hour earlier this week. But Jamal, I just put something in our chat that I wanted to talk about. I just got a text from my goddaughter. It's the LA County Household Relief Fund. So if you can put that, pull that website up and then put that link in the on the screen, Brian, and then we could put it on the Facebook chat maybe. This is a grant of up to $18,000 for individuals and I believe businesses as well. But it's for those, it's from the LA County Consumer and Business Affairs Division, but they have partnered with the Center by Lindustry to offer grants of up to $18,000 to those affected by the 2025 Eaton and Palisades windstorms. So submit this form. If you click on the interest form, Jamal, if you don't mind, people can click that. You would put all your information in and submit your form, and then it says you'll be notified when it's open, but this is the interest form, and they will notify you so that, you know, when the program actually opens, you're in. And I don't know how many people will get the grants or anything, but if it helps somebody, it's better than nothing at all. It's an additional $18,000. And I know a lot of people have been saying, where is all this money? The 700 million raised, whatever, this potentially could be out of that pot. I'm not sure, but I got the text from my goddaughter, so I wanted to immediately, after I went to it, checked it out, I wanted to talk about it, but I just got it a few minutes ago. So that's something I think that's new. I hadn't heard about it before, and I don't know if it's out there yet, but this is a relief grant for up to $18,000. So hopefully that can help some of the individuals that are watching us this morning. Go directly to lacountyrelieffund.com and fill in the interest form at least and get yourself started. Another thing that, as you all know, I'm doing is working on all the vetting of, did I freeze?
No.
Okay.
You're good.
On my end, I was just like stopped, but is vetting all the builders, contractors, everyone that comes to us. And so I had the pleasure of meeting with a man named Sal Amin. He is with, hold on, because I've got partners, love. He's with Vivere Construction. I will have for sure Tuesday, probably 2 to 3 people come on and have them do some segments of about 10 minutes, some architects and some others that I'm vetting and working on. But Vivere Construction, Sal Amin is with us this morning. And if you want to bring him in so that he can meet with us, and we're going to chat it up like I did with Kendra last week. And we're going to,
Damn.
there he is. This is the CEO, Sal Amin of Vivere Construction. We'll show his website. We'll put the link there. We're going to have a conversation with Sal this morning and hear what his company that we have vetted has to offer, what they look like, how we could potentially partner with him, or you all as individuals. This is another person that I have personally spoken with. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, it is my goal to have a location where we have everyone that we've brought on the show be in one room to bring presentations like we did with Kendra and how she came last week and showed the mock-up she did. But we are going to do the same thing with everyone that we have vetted and have anywhere from 6 to 10 contractors, builders, designers, architects, or whoever, so that you can speak with them. They can give their presentation, and then you can one-on-one actually talk to them. And Sal is one of the ones that I've spoken with this week. So welcome, Sal. And we will have a nice little conversation for the next few minutes about what Vivere Construction has to offer. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your company. Oh, you're on mute.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, you're muted this time.
There you go.
There you are.
All right. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for this opportunity to invite me at this podcast. Like Tony said earlier, I had the pleasure of speaking with her for 45 minutes, an hour. Everybody in Altadena, I just want to take a few moments and thank this group of individuals right here, Jamal, Brian, and Tony. They've been wonderful throughout this process, not only guiding the people on ground over there with Altadena, but also anybody in this position like myself coming in there and seeing what we could do as a team to help the community. So our company, our general contractor, we've been licensed over 20 years. We've been building projects anywhere from home renovations, from ground up builds, ADUs, anything of that nature when it comes to general construction. Whether we're part of the process or advising in the process, we've done it for over 20 years. And something in this nature and the caliber of what's going on, we understand that experience matters. We know what it's like to go through situations like this. Unfortunately, we've had clients who have lost their homes, lost their businesses, and we've been there from the beginning to the end process. And this team here has made the process easier for everybody. They're working closely with local officials, insurers, nonprofits to streamline permits, reduce delays, and advocate for fair resources for homeowners. That's what we want to be part of. That's what our community and moral values were before this unfortunate event, and that's what we want to show and entail going forward.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was listening to you, and I was
wondering what happened.
And then I was like, "Wait a minute! Sorry for the dead space." No, thanks, Sal, for that.
We got dead air here, dead air.
Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that. So, like we were talking, and I'm glad you said that because you watched the show that we had that I did, and I brought on Kendra. So you watched the one where I talked about her first and her website, and then the one on Friday last week where she actually came on with the mock-up. And it's funny because that fireplace behind me kind of looks like the outside of the house for the mock-up that she did.
It does.
But so one of the things I was saying to you the other day in our call, like I saw your website. I looked at it, and there's beautiful, if you could bring that up, even Jamal, again, there's beautiful work that's been done, whether it's kitchen, baths, foyers, entryways, all of that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I said, what I don't see, that's so bomb right there. That I would live right there on my back patio porch area. I just wouldn't even come in the house anymore.
What was that, Sal? What'd you say about it?
I said that was an amazing project we worked on. The homeowners were excellent to work with, and we really put the touches that they were looking for. And exactly what Tony said, we want somewhere where we're outside and it feels like home. And that's hopefully what we provided for them.
Where was this?
This was in the Bay Area, in near Santa Clara area.
Okay, a little bit up north. So one of the things that was really important to me, that's beautiful too, was besides just seeing pictures of work that you've done, do you work primarily with a designer or an architect that works one-on-one with the people based on, okay, this is a brand new one-off project? Or do you have plans that people can look at and go, oh, I'd like this model house, but I want to modify and change it a little? Or are you a little bit of everything?
We're actually a little bit of everything. We understand what each homeowner, before we even pick up a hammer, in this case, we ask the homeowners, what makes your house into a home? what is it, that unique touch, whether it's the colors, whether it's the swing on the porch, whether it's the backyard area. What can we do to personalize this? Anybody can make houses, but we're here to make homes. We have our team over here of architects and designers who have put together a few different layouts, like you said, different models, Model 1, Model 1A, what can be modified in this situation. Slightly, this one could go. So we're actually working with not only the people that we've had in the past, but we're building a team as well for the local area, Pasadena, Altadena, and trying to get a whole package ready for that project, for that presentation, and within the next 2 to 4 weeks, as you mentioned.
Okay, because I know that you're up north in the Bay Area, but you also have Upland, I believe, an office down here or something, and then you have a lot of subcontractors that you have worked with in the past that are down here in the local area. So because we all are also trying to find people that are local, right? Or know our area, know how unique Altadena was, different than Palisades. We're different than Pasadena because we're not a city, we're a town. And they had the James cottages back in the day. We have everything. One thing that I know, I've spoken to some people, and we don't want tract homes, right? We want that uniqueness again. We do have a group that's like, oh, we should just go with, and have all this same model home or whatever. And nobody wants that because we've never had that and we don't want it. And so that's why I asked, do you work with people individually to really get what they want? Because some people may have pictures and say, I want my house to look exactly like it did before. Right? The only difference would be newer construction, different codes, things like that. So we want to make sure that people we bring on the show are able to work with the residents of Altadena and give them what they really want, and not just try to push anything on them and say, well, this is what I have, and you could pick from one of these and that's it.
Yes, no. For us, every family story matters. So, and we approach each project with respect, and we understand what they've endured in this process. So we want to bring that touch, that sense of home, as I mentioned earlier, and the part of the community. If they want to go with a cookie cutter approach, great, we have those options as well. But as you said, everybody that we've spoken to and this team obviously has gone more one-on-one with multiple residents and community members. That's not what we're about. We want to bring that flavor, that uniqueness that Altadena had, that history of respect towards the community, and the history of just that sense of love, to be honest with you. We want to match the spirit of Altadena with action. That's our goal here. And that's why working with different designers in the area does bring that uniqueness and touch. And we're building that as we go along.
I think I mentioned it to you, but will you be able to be here when I have this meeting? If it's in 3 weeks or whatever, I'm going to try to have it midday on a Saturday. I'm working with my church right now in Pasadena to see if we can host it there. But will you be able to come down for it, or would you send someone local?
No, I'll bring my team.
Okay.
Currently I do live in Northern California. My plans are to personally move back to Southern California as well too, but I have lived in that area. So it's not just about a rebuilding homes, like I said. It's just being out there, however I could help. So I'll be there in person, bring a team along with me.
Okay. Okay, yeah. And I'll give you enough time. It won't be like, oh, we're doing it this Saturday and I tell you on a Thursday, right? I'm planning now so that I can solidify a date. I'm hoping for it to be like around March 15th. And I think it's super important to have this now because phase 1 and 2 are happening simultaneously. They're still removing, phase 1, toxic materials, batteries, things like that. Phase 2 started earlier this week where they're literally going in now, digging out or taking out everything from the lots, right? All the old chimneys, all the old debris. And then if you want your slab removed, that will also be part of phase 2, and smoothing out the dirt. But phase 3, which is the permitting process, submitting plans, working with your builders, your architects, your surveyors and everybody, is also happening right now. And because we've heard from our supervisor, Catherine Barger, for our area, and our governor, they were, here on the ground a couple of days ago saying, yeah, we would love to see homes begin to be built in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Whether that's reality and it will actually happen because they are cutting through all the red tape to get these permits, we don't know. But one of the things and the reasons I believe personally that they're saying it is because we're a town of 42,000 people and lost 96, 98 structures, including businesses, and all of this in schools. But if 9,000 of that are homes, residential homes, and then apartment buildings and things like that, the county cannot afford for us to be not doing anything for 2 years, because that's revenue. That's property taxes that is deferred that they are not going to have for 2 years, and they cannot afford it. No. Right? So it's billions of dollars already, right? And so we know that, yes, if that means cutting through the red tape and saying, all right, in 2 months, we're going to start seeing slabs laid again, foundations laid, and structures being built back up or whatever. One of the things I spoke with you about is I am literally trying to recruit an army of people. And I keep saying that because I want hundreds. I don't care if it's 100, 200, 600, whatever. And I have a sheet that we're going to put up the link to, so that if anybody wants to go, and I'll put it on the Facebook page as well, but if anybody wants to go and put themselves down as a volunteer, they can. But literally, I'm calling it Altadena for Altadenians, or A for A, or whatever, right? What I want to do is have it similar to Habitat for Humanity. We've talked about it on this show, and I talked to you about it the other day, Sal. And you were excited because you thought it was a great idea. I definitely do, because our community is so close-knit that I would love, I don't care if it's every Saturday and Sunday or whatever, but if I have to be boots on the ground, hammering something, pulling wiring for, electrical, helping put some plumbers glue and put the PVC in, or the copper, whatever it is, right? I'll do it. And so I want to have an army of people, because the way our town is, people always want to help one another and give. And so if we could be there, work with the contractor and say, look, whoever your project manager or site coordinator or whatever it is, right? We've already had them go through safety training and sign a waiver that is releasing your company from liability. But say you come down, meet with people, and they really connect with you and like what, how they can work with you, and decide, say you have 15 lots, right? Or 20 lots. And on one Saturday, you decide we're going to do 5 or 10 or however many. If you have an extra 50 bodies there, we could get that house framed in that one day, right? Versus taking your crew of however many, 5 or whatever, an entire week. So if your professionals are there and just instruct all the army of folks, that's very important to me, because we could get these houses done quicker. On that Monday, like I said, the contractor can say to the county inspectors, hey, these lots are ready to be inspected. They come out, and then during that week, not that nothing would happen during that week, but even if we have volunteers that are available to go during the week and help, then so be it, right? And just help get these houses all back much faster. Obviously, volunteers would not be doing all the work. It would just be assisting. But the more you have on site to help, the quicker your team could go on and get this stuff done. So talk about that, and the fact that I know you and I spoke about it, but what that would look like for your company or for your team to actually have an army of volunteers ready, like a Habitat for Humanity or something, to get this stuff done, the extra bodies.
As you mentioned, I was very excited to hear that. I didn't think it was a great idea. I thought it was an amazing idea. And that's what it takes. It takes, like I said, community leaders like this to come up with these type of initiatives, to what we can do to help get things going. And not only for that goal of, they had initially 4 to 5 years out, then 2 to 3 years out. And now we have the blessing of hearing 6 to 8 weeks out. That's what it takes to get to these type of goals. That's realistic. We would love any type of support that we can get, like you said, whether it's picking up a hammer, putting down a nail, framing, anything of the nature. We all know the resilience that the Altadenians have, and and they want to be part of this. They want to be part of this, and we as have a team of our supervisors here from Northern California and our Southern California team ready. You mentioned earlier that we have done multiple subcontractors in that relationships that we've built for the over 20 years now. So that's what we think it will take to get to these type of realistic goals. And I know you mentioned a lot about cutting through the red tape. I want everybody out there to understand that doesn't mean we're going to get a poorer quality or going through any safety measures. No, we're taking extra precautions, extra measures when it comes to safety, educating people on fire resistance going forward. And as a team with all the town halls and this podcast, which has been amazing, we're here to build that process up, take ideas from the people in the community, take ideas from other experts. Like I said, you guys had Kendra on there last week. She's amazing, and anything we can do to help her workload, or if our designers, somebody likes her design work and she doesn't have the team at that moment to help out, we're here part of that process. So that's what we're focused on. 200 to 400 people at minimum would be, like I said, amazing. Anything above that would just, like I said, I was dumbfounded. I was flabbergasted with this approach and excited because I know that that's going to get us to the point that we need to be.
Yeah, that's my dream, my goal. And by being on this platform, sharing it and everywhere else that we can, I think we can get there. Even if we start with 100 and we start on one house and somebody says, oh, all these people were there and we're helping, and that house got put up in 6 weeks instead of 3 months, or 2 months instead of 4 months or something. When they see it, then people will start to say, hey, how can we get involved? How can we do this? And basically it's us helping one another and just being there, right? And there may be some people that have physical limitations and can't do anything, but they want to be there to support, or they want to come and bring waters, or, whatever, so that the people that are actually there and can help, we can do that. So we would work with you, this team, Altadena Talks team would work with you to make sure that whatever release we have that, limits or waives liability for your company, we're aligned. Your attorney has looked at it and does everything. And we have those where they're online. The people would have to go and sign up as a volunteer on the sheet. We'd email them the link. They would go and do that and take safety training first. And then your site supervisor could say, okay, we know you've had this. I could be there and vouch that these are the people that have taken the training. These are the people that signed the waiver. And then at that point, your site supervisor would say, okay, we're just going to reiterate now that you're here. This is what the protocol is as far as safety. This is who you need to listen to. If you're doing something that you should not be doing, we're going to, talk to Tony or whoever and ask you to leave, or, whatever, because we want to make sure, obviously, that everybody is safe when you're dealing with nail guns and, wood and things that people can get seriously injured on. And those that know, like, make sure you have your own insurance. If you get hurt because you're doing something on your own, the contractor's not responsible, all of that, right? But that's what kind of is in my brain and how I see it. And just knowing that speaking to you, you are another one that, like Kendra, that's like, yeah, let's do it, because we could use the help and get this process done a lot quicker. So that's, where I'm going.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Hey, Sal, you had mentioned you in your description of how you kind of do things. You have a crew up in Northern California and a team down in SoCal, and it kind of sounded like, are they actually part of your regular part of your company, or is it just subcontractors that you work with and develop those relationships over time? Just for clarification.
Oh no, it's actually part of our crew, and we do have the subcontractors as well. Okay. Our personal crew here in Northern California, especially our supervisors, a lot of them have families that's been affected in the situation, not only in Altadena, but in the surrounding areas as well too. So when I gave the opportunity to them to, hey, would you guys be willing to take on some projects out there together? They were more than willing to. They said, we have family there, we have places to stay. So just wherever you need us at, especially in stuff like that, it's a feel-good process. It's whether you're doing a job in Northern California, Central California, and in this case, Southern California, this adds a little extra touch of the feel-good.
Yeah. So, and just a little background in terms of why I'm asking that. One of the things that we want to make sure that, if possible, is that we have that you're from. When I say you familiar, I think we want to feel comfortable that it's a team of folks that you regularly work with, that you know how they do things. Because some builders, right, they subcontract, and they don't subcontract with folks that they know. For example, maybe they don't have a huge team, and we just want to make sure that it's kind of like a family affair, that they're all vetted and all that kind of stuff as well, and having a vested interest, because their family members have been affected. It makes me feel a little better that they're really going to take control and be careful with how this has actually gone.
No, that's a very important question, and also for the understanding that everybody here that we personally bring onto this thing not only has the qualifications to get the job done, but we're, like I said, it's a team effort over here. It's a reputation-based business. So we know if we're out there and we do something outside of our morals of what we say now and don't deliver on, not only our business will get affected, but it just, again, that takes the feel-good process out of the situation. So awesome. Open communication is non-negotiable for us. Families deserve clarity during this time, and that's what we're here to provide.
Perfect. I figured you had that answer. I just had to ask. I wanted to hear the response, and that's perfect. And the other question I had was kind of related to materials. Obviously, this was a disaster of unbelievable magnitude regarding fires and what have you. We did ask Kendra about maybe fire retardant material or any unique materials that you were that might be available. Are you looking already in terms of having those kind of materials available?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We've contacted suppliers in this region as well, throughout California and nearby states with Arizona and Nevada, to kind of get everybody prepared. We do like the initiatives that the government is taking as far as price gouging goes. So we're giving everybody a heads up that we need this, and we don't need anybody to take advantage, not only of us on the contracting side, but that gets passed on to the homeowners if that's the case. And we let them know that these are not part of the cutting through the red tape process. This is what's emphasized here, that we want to be within. Our general contractor, Ken, he is looking into also getting certified for hazard material removal as well. And we're going through an remediation, asbestos testing. I know for new build, that's not a process, but we're taking every extra steps and educating ourselves more to get that. And as far as material goes and different labor and companies in the area, Tony had mentioned to me when we had that conversation, as far as anybody who wants to help and support on the business side, donating their time, whether they're plumbers, whether they're HVAC, anything of the sort. I've reached out to fellow contractors and fellow people in the industry, and they've also said, hey, whatever you need from us. Some things that Tony and I are going to be discussing in the near future is that kind of uniform approach. This is what we're trying to think. We want to work within homeowners insurance. We want to work within relief funds. We want to see how we can make this happen. On a personal level, that's important for us. What can we do to get you back into your homes and back the community going?
Yeah, awesome. It is. I keep emphasizing that with everyone that I'm speaking to and vetting, that a lot of this project is going to be labor of love. Everyone, yes, will get paid. Right? As contractors, you have to, right? You're not working for free, but we have some people that are underinsured and want to stay, right? So prayerfully, we can get some of this fire relief money, wherever it's coming from, these concerts and all of that will go and say, okay, look, here's $50,000 towards somebody rebuilding their home, or $100,000, or whatever it is, right? I'm just throwing numbers out. I haven't talked to anybody. I don't know. And because I know everybody keeps saying, oh, there's 700 million that's been raised. Where is it? Well, there's things that have happened, right? But the money doesn't go out right away. These people who have raised money, there's foundations. And if they have it set to, oh, we're going to give X amount of dollars to people individually, or like these grants, or we're going to say, hey, we're spending $1 million so that everybody in that area can come to this event and pick all of what they need or want from this thing, right? And then any of these organizations who have raised money, as long as they're a nonprofit, they have to be accountable for how that money is spent. They have to show we brought in this much and this is where it went. Now, do nonprofits even have, corruption or mismanagement? Absolutely. All of us know that, but that's not my business. They have to answer to the powers that be if they mismanage money. So I'm not going to sit here and try to go over and say, oh, well, we don't know where the money is. Well, events have just started happening or have just happened. We're literally 5 weeks in. And so, of course, you're not going to see all the money right away, right? Some are literally reserving it to help people rebuild. And if that's the case, they're not going to release it until it's that time. But the phase 3 part of working with a builder, working with a designer, an architect, whoever, needs to happen or begin now, so that when you get to that point, if you've applied for some grant or you're saying to whomever, we do not have the money to rebuild, right? Then there may be other grants or applications that you have to fill out because you've made it known and you might be blessed to get, some donation. I've been saying to the contractors and the builders, some of this you're not going to make a whole lot of money on, because if somebody has $200,000, $250,000 for their insurance and another $100,000 for their loss of everything in their home, or $200,000, what if you're working from $400,000 to $600,000 total for the insurance? I want these builders that we are vetting and bringing in to understand you're not going to make $1 million on this project, on each of these homes. These are not going to be $1 million homes being built, meaning there's a budget of $1 million. So let's be realistic. And both you, Sal, and Kendra have said we will work within the budget of the homeowner. And that's important. And then for those that don't have any money, that were totally uninsured, right? Whatever they come up with. And again, if I got to be there slinging a hammer, nails, and whatever, so be it, I will. And we've got to then also work with companies to say, are you willing to donate, this lumber? Are you willing to donate this electrical or this PVC or whatever? So I think that it's very important that we bring that to the forefront when we're talking, right? Which is why I brought it to you, because I don't want anybody thinking, oh, they're going to come in and just like developers, oh, we're going to make all this money. Yes, you will make your money, because as you, your reputation will precede you, right? As you are working with people, it's going to be word of mouth, and people are going to say, oh, go talk to Sal. Oh, go talk to Kendra. Oh, they worked with us. They worked within our budget. They were on time, things like that. That's very important, because then guess what? We got 9,600 homes to be rebuilt, or structures. So you will have more than your fair share of what you need so that your company makes the money that you need to make. So that's the point, that when we're vetting, that's why it's not a 10-minute call. That's why it's a 40, 45-minute or an hour call, because I'm making sure people we bring on this show understand that well before they're brought onto the show. And so I was satisfied with speaking with you. And when I got off, Brian, Jamal and I have a 3-way text, and I said, Sal's a yes for me. Literally, that's what I text them as soon as I hung up from you, because there's others that I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not even gonna, they're not on the list. But you and Kendra so far are yeses for me, right? And so that's why I want to make sure I keep bringing people on. And then we bring people in person to meet with you all. That is the next step. And I think that's extremely important, that they're able to see you, to meet you, to hear from you in person, see what you bring to the table, see the designs that you have, just generally based on, oh, I've looked at Altadena history. I see how some of the houses are. We have all these different 4 or 5 different, models that we can show you right now that are different, that don't look all the same, and that we can modify or do what people want, right? You said at the time you didn't have that, but you've been working on it. And I do see you have worked on that website since we spoke earlier this week, because you said, I want to add a couple more things. And thank you for doing that, because even these photos that I've seen that weren't there the other day are great. So thank you for being responsive and doing keeping your word and doing what you said you're going to do. And I will let you know, hopefully by end of next week, what the date is, where we will be, the time, and all of that, so you and your team can come and be part of that.
Those kind words were much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Thank you overall for, like I said, having me part of this process. And I'm not going to, my team, myself, we're not going to let you down.
Appreciate that. I have another. I'm sorry. I always have these
No.
weird questions.
No, go. That's what this is about.
So this is, again, a very unique situation that we're in right now. Have you ever experienced or worked on bringing a home back from basically the dead before? And obviously not on this magnitude, but have you worked with burnt houses before and restoring them?
Yes, we have both houses and businesses from the ground up. We understand from the debris removal process, the hazardous material removal process, and just like I said, getting through the permitting, the working with insurance. This is all that we had. Not only that we have licensed over 20 years, but prior to that, another 10, 15 years. Our general contractor, he is an electrical engineer with educated in that background. So he's familiar with not only that process, but like I said, ground up from multi-million-dollar homes to ADUs. And in this case, we know that a lot of people is going to want to try to get back on site as soon as they can. So building an ADU in the back line just to get it there until we work on the home and the fund loan. Whatever parameters it is, we're here to make it happen.
Cool. Along those lines, I did ask this to Kendra as well. Let's say, somebody decides they chose your company, they chose Vivere. What are the steps? How do they start? What's step 1, step 2, all the way to the point where they actually get their certificate of occupancy?
So step 1 is a project assessment. We're here to listen. We're here to see, like I said, how can we make your house into a home? So we sit there, and as Kendra before mentioned too, whether we're going to sometimes bring our architect or designer on board and they'll be sketching out. Some people are visual, some people need to see things, some people need to read things, and we understand that. We do a full project analysis assessment. This is free of charge for any person out there. This is no money out of their pockets. As soon as they're comfortable to get to the next steps, then it's going to be $1,000 deposit. And from there, we take it, whether submissions with the architects, engineers, planning departments. And good thing, like I've mentioned multiple times, that we have people like Tony out there that's already kind of guiding us through that process as well too, of what's to entail. That's step 1. Step 2 goes back into approvals process, building, and getting the project done. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and then it's happy homes and happy smiles.
Awesome. And like a traditional construction ground up construction, you kind of bear the costs until certain sections portions are done. Once approved, then you get paid, and you keep going from there. Is that correct?
Yes, it's different phases or payment schedules is what we like to call it. And generally speaking, it's upon completion of work. So let's say we lay out the foundation, we're completed, city passes, then everybody is not only happy within the homeowner, but the city as well. Okay, payment for that process.
Gotcha.
Each step is going to be like that upon completion of work.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I mean, it's a traditional build, but I'm going to ask that for everybody that comes on, because I think people just need to hear it on a regular basis, and just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So awesome.
Great.
That's it for me at the moment.
Yeah, and I have some documents that I'm going to send you, Sal, because this is literally from our county. One is a full disaster recovery, but there's another one that's a guide to rebuilding, and it's a full table of contents, cost, timeline, design. So I want to show you what the county has put together, and introduction, directives, path, all of that, just so that you have it. I've provided this to Kendra as well. And then with the ADUs, because we talked about this with Kendra, and I know you've watched those videos, I personally, and I know that they have told people, yes, they could, but they're also saying it would be better to get a trailer and put there. and get a generator for right now, because there's may not be electrical or, gas lines or whatever. So maybe get a generator. But I said this to Kendra, and I said, is this the correct thought? She said, yes. I would caution people about building an ADU on the property before getting the house complete. 2 reasons why. You need to have your footprint for the house there first. And we know that people have to have that easement, that 6 feet of easement for county, because in Altadena, we don't have sidewalks. It's generally the street and then, your property, but we don't have built-in sidewalks to walk because we're a town, not a city. The city makes money when you have sidewalks. They can also say you can or cannot park in front of your house when you have sidewalks, things like that, right? And that's what the city does. That's why Altadena has stayed unincorporated as part of the county. That's part of why. But if people are putting an ADU first, they may interfere with what the easement or the 5 feet on each side may be. You might be building and everything's not ready. So I know that site surveys have to happen, electrical engineers, structural engineers, all of that, which is all part of your team, have to come in and do everything as part of the process of the design and the build. But also, and we spoke about this several times this week, and we will continue to, Prop 13. So as Californians, we voted in Prop 13 many years ago. What was it, 70s or whenever it got voted in, 80s maybe? Anyway, a long time ago, probably 70s. And so the Prop 13, thanks, Brian. Appreciate you putting that shortened link, because I always do the other ones. So thank you. But
you want me to share that now too, or
yes, please.
Show it? Okay, cool.
You're on mute, bruh.
Yeah, because there's people here getting ice and blending shit and some of this stuff. Excuse me. But that is not the link to your sheet. That is a link to a questionnaire.
The volunteer sheet?
Yeah, that's a link to a questionnaire. Link, if you can pop that up, because what's going to happen is we're going to have them fill out a form, and then we're going to put the information in the sheet. Because if we allow other people to do it, it's going to be all over the place. So
okay, that's cool. So you did a Google form.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Under Altadena Talks.
I'm cool with that. And then did you link it to the sheet?
I will link it to this. Well, it's going to be linked to our sheet.
Okay,
that'll be our internal thing.
Okay, that's good. So I
don't mean to cut you off. We do have questions from the audience, Sal. If you would care to possibly
hold on a minute. I'm gonna get to those questions.
That's what I'm saying. I just want you to remember to talk about.
Yeah. And we're gonna wrap it up. I got you.
We don't need to wrap it up, because there's going to be a lot of people wanting to ask questions.
My train of thought got messed up just now, because we came in with the link, we came in with the other stuff, and See,
that's what happens when I got ADD.
Right. Well, yeah, we almost 60 this year or next year and the following year, so train of thought be like, what? Anyway,
I got senior ADD.
Right. No, we all have CRS. Can't remember. Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We got CRS. But anyway, Sal, we'll probably just go to them questions, because when I tell
I'm not.
I forgot for real. I forgot. Okay, so yeah, we do have some questions from some people. We have a lady that comes on, and she said she doesn't have time to watch our past talk shows, but
I'm not sure if it's a lady, just because of the way it's spelled.
I'm sorry. Well,
a person.
When I went to her profile, it's a lady with the ponytail like an avatar. So that's why I say Renee is a lady. But we have a person who asked a lot of questions that we've already answered on our previous podcast. And she says that she doesn't have time to watch them. So she asked things that they asked things that we've already discussed, and we reiterated on each show. But Renee has a lot of questions here today, so I'm going to pose a few of them to you. If you as a builder can answer them, fine. Some of them have nothing to do with you. Oh, I know, I was talking about Prop 13. So with Prop 13, see how that brain goes back. But with Prop 13, we know that people can do a 10%, which means now we could do 110% build of our footprint. So if it was a 1,600 square foot house, you can add 160 more square feet without your property taxes being affected or going up, because you're under under Prop 13. So I have suggested people wait until after you build your house with that extra 10% on before you build an ADU. Maybe just get a travel trailer thing to put in the yard with a generator if you want to live there while the house is being built. So just to let you know, that's what I've said. What are your thoughts on that?
No, that's a great idea. And like I said, each homeowner is going to want different things.
Yeah.
So we're here to accommodate as best we can. We've already spoken to a few people who have modular units out there, trailers, other modular unit, temporary homes, prefabs. We're also contacting some overseas suppliers that we've had worked with in the past and seeing what the time frame will be to bring those out over here if needed. Again, there's a lot of people going out and trying to, lock these up and get them, ready to help out. And we're not only working in California, but we reached out to contacts in Nevada and Arizona as well.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to ask go over some of these questions with Renee. Thank you, Jamal. I knew it was in the late 70s somewhere. I remember when it was huge, and I was 13 at the time or something. So yeah, that was a huge thing. And we've had people try to repeal it in the last few election cycles under different names, and it keeps being we're keeping. And that's the new people that are coming in buying $1 million homes that don't want to pay those property taxes. And they're like, well, these other people should be paying what we're paying. No, not when we've been here for 57 years. Anyway, so Renee has a question that says, is there property tax relief other than a delay in due date? Some people's homes were paid off and now have to foot. Okay, well, you put it up there. I'll still read it. Another bill.
No, you have to, because can't nobody read that.
What is the mayor, the city, the county, and the governor, the state going to do for low-income people who may have a problem with paying their land property taxes? This is an immediate problem. This is how the homogeneous area will evolve into a newfound land if the officials do nothing. Okay, so Renee.
Can I take this one?
Please.
I actually sent you a comment. We're going to present your question because we're typing out all these questions, and we're going to present them at the next town hall. Because we don't have the capability of answering the questions without the LA Council giving us the answers. We're only relaying the news to you. We don't make it. So I promise you, Renee, that when I'm at the next town hall, I'm printing out all of the questions you have, and I'm going to hand them the sheet so I don't have to worry about writing it down. So we're definitely going to focus on that.
So let me just say this. We have addressed the information we have. I've been on County Board of Supervisors meeting. I've gone to 540 West Woodbury, which, Renee, if you haven't, maybe you should go over there and talk to people because they're answering all these questions on the spot. And you come and you ask us these things where the actual officials that can help you are at 540 West Woodbury Road, willing to answer. So when I was there, I think last Friday or something with my parents, because I had told my mother some of the information that we've gotten. Property taxes, it's not a delay. They're not going to back bill you for 2 years on a due date. If your home was totally destroyed, you will pay no property taxes. If you just paid in December, the April is knocked out. Nobody is paying that because there's no structure, there's no property. If you go and you fill out the calamity form, they are reevaluating and making your home value, the structure, zero. You will not be given any property taxes on the structure until you build back. So whether it's in a year or 2 years, right? And they're giving a 2-year time frame, you will not be charged property taxes until the structure is built back. For the property itself, meaning the land value, if you're under Prop 13, your land value is locked in under what it was from probably 81,
since 1978,
79, right? Whatever once it passed, since 78, your land value is locked in at that. My parents' land value, because I've been on the county assessor's website, is $89,000 because it's under Prop 13. That's all they're assessed for. And I believe it's 1 year that they're not going to assess even on that. And then they'll start assessing the land value again in a year. So 540 West Woodbury, you can go ask them all those questions. You can also go on the LA County Assessor's website, and they have a disaster relief page. that will also answer all your questions regarding land value, property taxes, and not a delay, but you will not begin to be reassessed for the structure until a new structure is built. So no problem that we're saying it again, but we can relay the information that we know or that we've gotten, whether we've gone and asked the questions in person or we've gone on the website. But for you specifically, Renee, I would say go to 540 West Woodbury, sit there for a little while and ask the county assessors who are there, and will have you fill out the form. They put it directly in the system because I had my parents do it and I was there with them. They're the experts. They will answer all the questions that you have about property tax, structures, the calamity form, the land value and taxes on that and everything. So it's an immediate problem, but if you don't go to the people that can assist with it, then we can only tell you what we know from two things, from going, asking ourselves, being involved, from what we see on the website, what we've experienced or whatever. You have
Also, if you have already paid your property taxes, there's a form you can file a claim to get the money back.
for the April one, right? Or February, March, April,
So
whenever.
anything that was due this year, if you already paid it, then you can apply to get your money back.
And they are giving them back.
Okay, so Max has a question.
Max.
What about the timeliness for rebuilding infrastructure, utility, gas, water, sewer lines? Sal, can you take that, or
Yeah. So that's what our initial project assessment entails. We have to see what's on site, what's left, check the sewer lines, see what any new codes or anything based off this disaster situation has entailed. So timelines are hard to, I can't promise anything here without us looking at the actual property site and seeing what the architects come up with, the plans. Overall, that's what's key. It's not like a cookie cutter process. 1,000 square foot home and a 4,000 square foot home, night and day.
Okay.
I
We
can
got
tell
another-
you this.
Go ahead.
We know that round the clock, Edison, the gas company, different water companies in Altadena, you may have Rubio Water, you may have Los Flores Water, whatever. And they're all working together with the county and with the Army Corps of Engineers. So somebody within all of those has the answer, but I bet you 540 Woodbury, there's somebody that can help with that too.
Okay, the next question is from Renee Brown again. What is required license and bond amount for a disaster such as this?
So we're getting updated on that. Our bond, we're in the process, after speaking with Tony, we're increasing our bond as maximum as we can on our end. As far as any liability insurance, that as well, we're maximizing all that. We're currently set at $1 million on a personal level, but we're taking every precaution right here and going to go ahead and see how we could maximize that.
And as part of the vetting, I am getting everyone I speak with, I'm getting their California state license number for their general contractor's license. I'm getting their bond company and amount and number. I also have requested, and I'm getting their insurance company and then their liability, their $1 million, or whatever as well. I have all that in the document. As I speak to each person, I'm requesting and saying, as part of the vetting process, I need that. So just to let everybody know, I am, and I'm letting them know, oh, your bond's this much, somebody else's is this much. And that's probably part of the reason why when we spoke, now you're saying, yeah, because you told me, oh, we're at $1 million. And I said, okay, I've got one more person at $1 million. I have somebody that says they're at $2 million. And so they are going back and maximizing whatever, because we want to make sure that whatever is going to be required, right? And I know the minimum is supposed to be $1 million, but if people choose to have more to protect their company, especially in a situation like this, then so be it. But I am making sure that as part of the vetting process, I get that information from each contractor or builder that I'm speaking with.
Okay, the next question is, due to this is a large disaster, does he have a max on projects he will be accepting due to the overload for his business?
Great question, Wanda.
That is a great question. And as we emphasized early on, that we do have our personal team, and a lot of the subcontractors that we've worked with in the area all the way down from San Diego County throughout Ventura County, LA County, San Bernardino County, Riverside, and Orange County. We've had a blessing and opportunity to build homes there. So 24 years licensed, we've built a lot of relationships. We'll be taking on a lot of projects. That's not a problem because everybody is willing and excited to, like I said, be part of the rebuild process. It's also work at the end of the day, whether it's with the disaster relief or if we're doing, let's say, home renovation or a flip or a ground up build, develop, people are always there willing to work. Now, everybody's a little bit more alert. If it gets to that stage that we can't take something on, we'll definitely refer it over to a fellow direct contractor. But on the project management side of things, that's where people could be rest assured. We have a very, very big team, experienced, and we're bringing more people as well with the projects that we do get.
That's awesome to know. I have a unique question related to that. Since we're probably going to have multiple builders working in the same area and you guys have had experience, I'm hoping you guys collaborate with one another to make sure that you're not using the same extended contractors, when you expand your need for more workers, just to make sure, that group of folks that you normally work with, maybe Kendra works with a couple of them too, or maybe someone else might. So I'm hoping you guys, talks amongst yourselves to make sure you're not, pulling the same extra contractor, in multiple directions.
No, not only overall that Tony's doing her vetting and you guys as well. We do that. We do it on our end. Anybody new, we generally like referral based, not only for the client wise, but internally as general contractors, we make our calls. Hey, have you worked with this person? How was their quality of work?
Oh, that's great.
We take a look at old pictures, videos, whether there's a lot of subcontractors out there than primary contractors, we still take that time to see what they've done.
That's
and I noticed the question that popped over there. Quality is essential here. Cutting through red tape and stuff, it does not take away from quality. Our build is going to be met to standards above the city inspections, and that's our goal. And with people like Tony and her GC on site, that's another eyes looking at us. So we want to meet the expectations of not only homeowners, city inspectors, but the big boss right there, Tony. So that's what we're here for.
Well, not only that, we got the neighborhood. We got the neighborhood watchdog, Renee Brown, in the house. So anything that go down, she gonna be the main one to pop the question up. So that's why I'm making sure I'm copying all these questions, because I want to do my due diligence and to making sure you get what you need, because that's the whole point of us doing it.
Renee,
and she said that's great. Thanks.
Yep. Please come down to the event that's going to be held by Tony and her team and Altadena Talks. I'm more than willing to meet you in person, introduce you to the team, and we're here. We're here, whatever time, around the clock. We're here.
That's
yeah,
cool.
And I got you. I'll do speed dial if I need to, Sal. But because you're on my cell phone. But the purpose of this again is we are really trying to do everything we can for our community. All of us are Altadenians. Some born there, some moved there at 1-2 years old. We've grown up there. We've been there a very long time, and we all want the same thing. I think there's some anxiousness at times with people because we don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers, and I think that as we continue to evolve, meaning as we grow and things are iterated, as we begin to build, we'll find out. So we have to also wait on the authorities or work with them to get certain things done. That's not in our power. That's not in the contractor's power, because Sal's team, Kendra's team, whoever could be ready to lay out plans and go lay slabs next week if a lot is cleared. But if it hasn't been cleared to start the build by the authorities in the county, meaning the gas lines are okay, the water lines are okay, the water has been tested, the electrical is back in that area. I know week one, when I went up to my parents' house, I was like, wait a minute, what are y'all doing cutting down trees in the backyard? Do not touch a tree on this lot. But there was one that they had to cut down to get the new power pole in. And the power pole was laid out on my parents have a little sort of a sidewalk, not a city one, but that they did with brick. And Then the next day when I went up there, I couldn't, and I was doing sandbags with Team Rubicon at the time, volunteering in the area. So we were laying them at people's houses, and I took them around to show like, this is, our house, and couldn't even get on the street because the crane was there. So we know that, the people want the lines underground. Well, to do all of Altadena underground would take a decade or more, right? That might be something later that they do. But right now they're trying to get electricity back to the point where they can re-energize lines so that we can start building back and get our houses back. And the people whose houses aren't burned down, that aren't fully displaced and don't have to be torn down, but choose to be there, they will need electricity as well and not generators, right? So yeah, everybody is working, everybody's doing everything they can. And to be honest, things are changing so rapidly. Sometimes the officials are telling us stuff, and then the next day it's different. So it's great to have the questions. We can go by whatever information is being released and just say it, but it may change in another day or a week or whatever. So even though you have the questions, you may not get the answers, not only from us, but initially from the officials, because things are changing all the time.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's the last statement we're going to get from the audience, because I think all of the answered questions have been answered to the best of our ability. And we always are doing our due diligence to make sure we bring you everything that's true and factual and comes right from the lips of the officials themselves.
We're trying.
Definitely trying.
We're trying hard. And so, yeah, again, watch these podcasts, go back and watch the ones that we've talked about stuff, only because it may be something that we miss and you can catch. And then go to 540 Woodbury. They literally moved the center from PCC's extra space to 540 Woodbury because that's Altadena versus having to go down way past, where we are, because people that are Altadenians are going up to see their house. So if they have questions, they could go. The planning department for the county is there. And so they're ready to assist and to answer any question that you may have outside of getting information from us, because we're not the experts. We're just all trying to do what we can to bring our town back, getting the information, disseminating it properly, vetted, and as accurate as possible. And then I've taken on the pet project of vetting builders and volunteer army, gathering people. And so that for me is a passion project now, which is why I'm so involved in that stuff. Although Altadena talks, I'll be here forever. So, whatever.
At least for you.
Yeah. Jeff Cathcart made a comment that he did say, I think yesterday, the day before also. Yes, you can ask for sidewalks if you want, but I think the entire block would have to ask for the sidewalk, and then they would take part of it or something, right? I don't know that they're going to do a partial sidewalk, because again, I know that has to do with taxation on the street and all kinds of stuff, but I do know you can ask for it. Have at it, contact the county, that's Public Works, and figure that out. I don't have any information on that whatsoever, other than knowing that, yes, I think the block could say, oh, when we build back, can we take? Now, remember, you already have an easement. So if you take part of that easement and want to build a sidewalk, then that's going to possibly narrow the street or some of your property from your lot.
Well, majority of we just got sidewalks up on Marengo and a few others. Not sidewalks, excuse me, curbs.
Curbs, right.
That's
different.
only to direct the water so it won't run on people's property. That's what they've been putting them up lately because of the previous storms we've had and people have complained. So they did start that project. I don't know anything about the sidewalks portion of it because they didn't put any sidewalks when they put the curbs.
Yeah, I think that would have to be something that I'm pretty sure the whole block would have to commit to and figure out what they're going to do with that. Because again, I know that generally cities have sidewalks that they have to maintain that are regulated by the city, but it has to do with taxation. So, and then sometimes it has to do with parking as well, because if there's a sidewalk and you're parking, if you want to do overnight, you may have to buy a permit, just like in Pasadena. Lots of different things. So the sidewalk thing is a little bit hairy. and I'm not going to at all speak like I'm an expert, but I do know some of those things are tied to having sidewalks.
That's correct. That's the research that we've done as well too. You got to go through the county, and they have a particular set with this. Very, very important to do that, because if your neighbor doesn't approve, they might not be able to get you on board. There's a certain amount of square footage, in a sense, that will allow based off of acceptance of the community and the neighborhood.
Yep. So Elaine just said she knows in the Cheney Trail area to get sidewalks, you have to take it from your property, as the property lines for each parcel connected. Most didn't want to give up the property for that. And that's why I said I don't know every regulation about it, but I do know if you want a sidewalk and it's 3 feet or whatever, then that takes from your property. And then you, if I'm not mistaken, you have to then give that to the city or the town, the county. They own it, but then now they can tax you for that as well. So there's a lot of hairiness, and I believe the majority of Altadenians over the years have said no, and that's why they're not incorporated, because they don't want it to be just like the city, so including sidewalks. So if you ask, I don't think it's just like, hey, I want a sidewalk here, and they're going to give you a sidewalk. There's a whole process that has to be done, but feel free, if you feel like you and your block want sidewalks, to see whether or not you can go through that process and get that done.
By the way, Elaine Scotton is our resident real estate agent and broker. So if you ever have any kind of questions like that, she usually pops in here and kind of gives you the answers, and we pop them up there. And she appears on the show every now and again. She's only done it once. We need you come back, girl. Stop playing around. People asking us questions we don't have the answers to. So, as the resident real estate agent, join the team.
Renee, you have a comment in here that says the landowner should investigate liability insurance for this process too. Are you meaning liability insurance for the build? Because your homeowner's insurance would cover that. So I'm not sure what the difference is that you mean, if you don't mind commenting for clarity. Because if you have homeowners insurance, there is a portion that even if somebody slips and falls on your property, that's the liability that covers them getting hurt or whatever. So I don't think for a build, there would be different insurance. Your insurance that you have already should cover the liability portion, is what I'm assuming. So if there's something different that you're talking about, it would be nice to have clarity on that.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of the show. I appreciate you, Sal, coming on, taking the time out. We didn't know you was going to be on here for an hour. We thought you was going to be 10 minutes, answer questions, and get out of here. But you should know by watching the previous shows that never happens.
No, and time in this case is always available to anybody who does have questions. Reach out to, obviously, you guys at Altadena Talks. You can reach out directly to us on the website for any questions. Anybody that comes from that area, I'm always going to run it through, like I said, the big boss Tony in this case, and get the approvals on every end. I want to be part of the long-term process. I had the opportunity to get onto this based off a mutual friend of ours, Timothy Marks, from Securitas Protective and Investigative Services.
John Muir High School.
Yep.
Thanks,
another Mustang.
Yeah. So I know that what Altadenas are all about, and loss is hard, but resilience is in the Altadena DNA, plain and simple.
Yeah. You ain't lying.
That's true. All right.
Well, I think that ends our show. Thank you, Sal, for coming. I'm going to put you in the green room. We can just stay around for a few seconds, and we're going to talk to you some more about coming back on the show.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sal.
Thank you.
You're muted, Jamal.
Thank you very much, Sal.
Thank you, Jamal. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a very good show. It's a very good show. We had lots of people asking questions. A very good show.
Which is good, because you know what? We're not always going to think about what questions are in anybody's head. Sure. So even Renee's questions, like I said, she can either go to 540 or she can look at
Wait
our
for us to
previous
get 'em.
shows and see links and go to places. But if we have at least some information to reiterate, what we've previously said, excuse me, then that's good. Love you too, Renee. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And hopefully we're doing what we are desiring to do, which is to be of service to other Altadenians and get this information out there and have these good in-depth conversations and keep bringing people on. Next Tuesday, I will probably have 2 different builders come on. So about 15-20 minutes for each.
Yeah, right.
And
Oh no, we're gonna keep. I'm gonna moderate. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll keep it to 15-20 minutes on each because
That'll be a 3-hour episode.
3 hours.
No, we're just gonna kick them out the show. Like you're gone.
But yeah, I've got some a female builder and then another one, and some of the people won't be that. Some might be just an architect. Some might be a builder, meaning he doesn't do the design process or whatever. He gets the plans.
Yep.
And then he will build it, right? That he called me a little while ago. And so I have different people from all over SoCal that are ready, that I've been vetting, and I'm just going to keep bringing them on so that, people can see who they are. My goal is by March 15th that we will have this meeting somewhere in Pasadena and allow people to meet these not developers, but builders, contractors, architects, whomever, and sit down and ask them the questions that they think they need to ask and look at their presentations and hear from them and decide if they want to move forward, with any of them. And if so, they can begin that process because that's phase 3. And as soon as phase 2 is complete or okay, right? Like they're doing the west side right now, they may have electrical, gas, water, all that ready when they start the east side. And so phase 3 on the west side is going to begin before the east side, obviously, because they're already clearing lots over there. So hopefully people will by then, by end of March or after meeting people, be able to have met with someone and have a contract in place to begin the whole process to get back.
Perfect. And with that, want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Friday. It's actually drying up now. All the worst. You got the right idea. Don't eat the whole thing, man. Come on.
Here, throw me a couple.
Yeah, share with
Throw
us.
me a couple. Throw me.
Yeah.
All right.
Have some of those. Yeah.
That's my sweetheart candy today.
This was episode 23, you guys. Can you even believe that? Episode 23. Man, we are moving and shaking. We're trying to bring that good information to you guys, and we will continue to do that. So for me, y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. We look forward to seeing you on Monday. Let everybody else say their goodbyes.
Peace.
And just to let you guys know, Monday will be 30 days that we've been doing this show.
Are we on Monday? We know it's a holiday, but are we on Monday or are we going to do something else?
I will be on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we ain't got no life, though.
Right, we all work remote from home, so I'm good.
Word. And I finally got some info I was trying to get to the folks, so I'll make sure I provide it on Monday. Thank you, B.
Okay.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.
Toodles.